Welcome to the ultimate Filecoin exit strategy video, the latest edition of our exit strategy series which all of you seem to be loving so far. Comment what other crypto you want covered and make sure you're subbed because otherwise how else do you expect to catch that content? With that said, let's get into it. So Filecoin has been making a lot of noise recently, and for good reason. I think it's a solid project. I've always been a big endorser of Filecoin, you guys know this. But it's about time it started running in these markets. I put Filecoin in the same bracket as maybe a chain link, where for example a project like Link sits at 10 billion. But we all know how important it is to this crypto ecosystem. And that Link will not die, and through the cycles slowly but surely make its way up. It may not have the explosiveness as a Sol or others, but those come with downsides too. Look at Polkadot and Terra Luna or Cardano, basically dead at this point, or close to it. Filecoin I think of the same way, and I must admit not too long ago I too was getting a bit annoyed with its slow price action, but soon enough it has now started running, because at the end of the day the Oracle side of Link, or data storage part of Filecoin, may not be the most fun narrative in the world, but its objective just how important they are. And since File has now started running, where exactly does the marathon end for this fundamental crypto this cycle? In other words, what's the top and when do we dump? So if the Filecoin of today were to match its previous all-time high market cap of 12 billion and change, then the price would go to $24 a coin, which may be mind-boggling for a lot of you considering the previous all-time high is $240. And so you may be asking that pain, you're telling me if File matches its previous market cap, it'd still be literally less than 10x its price. Which I'd respond with yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Meaning for the few of you out there who are planning on selling File at $240 again to secure a 30x from its current $8 price, I wouldn't get too ahead of myself. To match its $240 high, the Filecoin of today would need a market cap of around 123 billion, which we can go ahead and say is quite the far cry from here. But also not exactly impossible. If you're someone who truly believes in the decentralized storage narrative plus the idea that it'll garner mass adoption within the next 12 to 18 months, then you may be able to make the case that File reaches that valuation. But for me, because I'm not a File maxi to that extent, I won't be bag holding until those levels. That said, don't get put off by any of what I said so far because I still do think File does quite well. For instance, I think File flips its previous market cap high, so I'm declaring right now that File gets to more than a 12 billion valuation. That being said, the technical Filecoin market cap high is actually more. It got to as much as 15 billion on Wix before, and I'll double down even further and say File even breaks that high. So on this market cap chart here, I think File gets to 15 billion and breaks that high into price discovery. And so we'll start with exactly that. If Filecoin were to get to a 15 billion valuation, it'd be at a price of just under $30. So what I'm actually going to do now is mark out the $30 level on the chart with this black horizontal here. So it tells us that this is the place that at minimum we take profits at. If you were able to buy the Filecoin lows of this cycle under $3, that means you'd be securing more than 10x already. Let's move on to marking key levels, as this is where things really start to get interesting. We'll start by marking hold levels, which if you don't know is the accumulation candle yet to be tested on each time frame, starting from the 12-month time frame here and working our way down. So this 12-month candle here is yet to be tested, meaning we add 2 levels on the wick and body like so. We now go down to the next smallest time frame being the 6-month, but as you can see the hold levels stay exactly the same, so nothing to add here. The 3-month is the next smallest time frame, and yet again the hold levels stay exactly the same, nothing to add once again. On the monthly, however, we have 2 candles that need hold levels added to. This monthly here meshed up within our previous hold levels, so we'll go ahead and add those. And then this monthly up here with a level coming in at $51 and another at $60. On the weekly we start getting a bit more spicy. Hold levels go on this candle over here, 2 more on this candle here. This one is kind of distinct from our previous levels, but then this one also needs levels here. And then after that every single candle gets tested except for this one on its own up here, with both levels coming in around 133 due to how small the wick is. And then on the daily we have this candle here at $14. Under it every single candle has got tested, so if the strength of Filecoin continues with the market in its favor, these levels here are where we likely experience our first pit stop on this bullish trend. And then within this cluster of levels there are some daily candles to mark, but I'm going to leave those alone in a second, you'll see why. why. But if you want to mark them, go right ahead. There is this candle here at $30 to mark levels on which coincides with our $30 market cap level. And then this daily candle here with levels at 35 are extremely important to plot, so we'll be doing that. After that we have this small but important level to mark at $53. And then one even smaller than that at $62. After that almost every single candle going up to highs gets tested. For example, this small one here was tested and rejected. This one in the middle at no man's land also tested and rejected. But then this candle, which coincides exactly with our previous weekly candle, does not, so we'll mark this out once again. We'll also mark this one at 150, and then lastly this one at 170. I know it may seem like we've done a lot of work, but when we go back out to the bigger time frames, it pretty much tells the exact story of what to look out for. But let's also get out our FIB retracement. And as you can see, the 618 goes into this cluster here, will make that level orange. The 236, 382, and 5 will also mark out in orange. And then these 3 wicks in the middle I'll mark out in blue. I know this may seem like a mess, you may be thinking, Payne, I'm getting these vibes right now, but bear with me, I actually really like what we plotted here. First, let's take these cluster of hold levels down here. Although all very important, although they'll act as a huge resistance, I will give Filecoin the benefit of the doubt and assume we clear them. And so I'm going to delete these levels from 14 to 24 bucks, as again I think we clear them, but I suggest you continue to keep them on. At most you can make the argument for this area being the first of where you scale out, but I personally won't be doing that. From this point forward there's only 3 areas I'd focus on. The first is this cluster of hold levels and our minimum market cap level covering the $29 to $36 range. The second range is between $49 and $63, this zone here. And then the final range is up here between $120 and $170. Notice that this zone has literally 0 hold levels, meaning according to our hold levels thesis this area is air. I wouldn't even be surprised if we clear 64 bucks and teleport straight to 120 within a couple weeks or months, but we'll discuss that in a second. I get there's some wick and fib levels here, but this is more so where I'll look for weakness. If we start displaying weakness between 92 and 100 bucks due to the psychological importance of the $100 zone, then I'd get out early. But if it's more so resistance for the sake of being resistance, then the 120 to 170 zone could be programmed next. But with that out the way, let's discuss my personal Filecoin exit strategy, because I do own quite a bit of files, so this is exactly what I'll be exercising. The bear case for file is 28 to 35 bucks, but also the safest place to take profits. If you want a 4 to 5x from now or a 10x from the bottom, then exit out in this area here. I personally will be scaling out about 20 to 30% of my Filecoin bags in this area. Then we got this cluster here between $48 and $62. This is where I will be taking out the majority of my Filecoin position. And I am claiming right now right here that this area will be the Filecoin top for this cycle. Let's see if we're right in around a year and a half from now. A Filecoin between 48 and 62 would mean a $25 to $32 billion market cap. And you know what, that's quite respectable. And then finally at the end I will be keeping about a 10% moon bag, where I will only exit in this zone here between 120 and 170. If you haven't figured it out, this is the bull case for Filecoin this cycle. Make sure to smash that subscribe and like button for more content like this. Sign up to an exchange link below for all your trading needs, and I'll see you in the next one.